Hey folks, how's everybody doing? This is an older video that I am, well, a couple of older videos that I'm consolidating into one video to bring it in line with the others into the Ricoh GR102 series, and appropriately this video number 8 will be just after the previous video number 7 on filters. And here you can see I am actually out and about shooting with a Hoya IR72. That's a 720 nanometer infrared filter. This filter cuts out almost all the light reaching the sensor apart from infrared, and it's very effective. It works very well on a Ricoh. In a minute we're going to get to a how-to video, but I'm just showing you some quick samples that I got when I first tried the filter. I was allowing the camera to really ramp up the ISO. I think I was shooting about 6400, which is not ideal if you want to make prints. Noise starts creeping in. You can see on some of these images there is some noise. But one thing to bear in mind with infrared, when you don't have the sensor altered and have the bare filter scraped away, then there is a lot less light hitting the sensor, and so it usually means shooting with a very low shutter speed or high ISO. Now when I'm going for prints, I usually reduce the shutter speed and reduce the ISO to get a nice crisp image without much noise, and that means you're constricting yourself in some ways. The slightest amount of wind, when you're shooting at like 1/10 of a second or slower, then the slightest amount of wind will cause motion blur, perhaps in places where you don't want it. So bear that in mind. So that's why in the next section, where I show you how to go out and start doing this and shooting infrared, then this is when I get the camera on a tripod and get the shutter speed nice and slow, and bring that ISO down and just pray that there's no wind, and yeah, and that's what we get. So these are some images I took at high ISO, and the next section coming up is all about shooting on a tripod and going for print quality. So here we go. So here we get the lowdown on what I used. Unlike a lot of other cameras, the Ricoh GR3, and I'm presuming the GR3X, does not need surgery on the sensor to be able to take infrared shots very easily. All you need is a quality filter on the front, and of course to get that there you need some kind of adapter. You can use the official Ricoh adapters that also have a 49mm thread, or like me, you can use the filter adapter from the NISI master kit. This attaches to the front, kind of a bayonet type action, and then it's got a 49mm thread. The filter I bought was the Hoya 49mm IR72, which is a 720 nanometer infrared filter. This thing cuts out almost all light, but the Ricoh can handle it. This camera just never ceases to amaze me. It's just brilliant. It's easy to use because you can see everything clearly through the rear screen. It's got a weak infrared cut filter in front of the sensor, so you don't have to have surgery performed. This thing can shoot relatively quick. In the previous video I was shooting at ISO 1600 just to test it, and there's quite a bit of grain in the images as you saw. But I was just testing it, and I was able to just run around in the various locations shooting handheld at f2.8. I was shooting at 1/20th of a second, no problem at all. At f5.6 I was shooting about 1/4 of the second, but as we all know, the Ricoh's IBIS is fantastic, so that's no problem either. Today I went for print quality. The images that this thing can turn out are amazing, and I want to make some prints of these infrared shots because they're just beautiful. And so today I locked the camera in at ISO 100, took a little cheap tripod with me, and scouted out some new locations that I haven't shown you yet. Images are coming up, and I set the self timer to 2 seconds to avoid any camera shake, and scouted out locations, planted the tripod, and just started. And some of the images I've got from it they're just stunning. I'm going to show you some footage of the locations I was at, how they look before, and you'll get to see how they look afterwards. Okay, now I'm on a tripod today because I want print quality shots, and you can see the back of the camera. The Ricoh has no problem whatsoever seeing that tree, and I've bumped up the f-stops to f5.6, and the ISO is right the way down at 100. In drive mode I've set a 2-second delay on the shutter, so there won't be any camera shake. And now I'm just going to go and I'm focused on the tree. It has no problem focusing like that. And now I'm just going to take the first shot. And that was a 4-second shot it took there. So we're just going to look in playback mode, and it looks pretty cool. I can play with the white balance later on the camera, but it's looking pretty awesome. Now, right now, looking at the shadow on the ground, the sun has gone behind some clouds. So I'm going to wait here until the sun comes out of the clouds and I get crisp dark shadows, and then I'm going to take the next shot. Okay, we're here. And here we are now. Clouds are looking nice behind the tree. Ricoh's on the tripod, and very easy for me to tell what's on the screen. I'm reflecting the camera in it, I can see, but it's a lovely image on the screen. f5.6, 100 ISO, 2-second exposure with the countdown timer. So let's take a shot of that. Okay, so I'm heading off to the final location for today, which is a public place by some lakes and public gardens, nicely attended, and it's quite photogenic enough on its own, but I reckon with the infrared filter on it's going to look fantastic. So I won't be doing any talking while I'm shooting down there or filming the procedures because I'll look like an idiot. So that's it for me, and enjoy the final images. Bye.